In this video, I'm going to record the camera shooting two cars crossing the road like this. Alright, so I'm going to have, first of all, I will create the artwork for the roads and the car, and then I'll animate the cars, I'll add shadows, and then I will add a camera. I have to turn everything 3D so that I can shoot with different angles of the camera. So I'll start by starting a new project and create a new composition. And I need to create the roads first. So let's see how we can manage the layers intelligently here so that we don't have a million layers for something simple. So I'm going to start by creating a rectangle like this. Here it's defaulting to a gradient fill. So I'm going to click on fill and choose linear. And I will choose the color to be gray. Alright. And then this is added in a shape layer called shape layer 1. I'll press enter and call it road. So now I need another rectangle within the same layer. How can I actually get this? If I hold control and click, I would deselect whatever was selected. So like Illustrator, if you hold control and click anywhere, you would actually, outside any drawing, you would deselect everything. So control is to take you to the selection tool, no matter in whichever tool you are. So I deselected, which means what now? I'm back to the rectangle. If I created a new rectangle, it would be added as a new shape layer, which is bad. So what I have to do is actually use the same shape layer, which is called road, to create the other rectangle. So for that, I will select my rectangle, alright, and I'll press Ctrl D, and that will duplicate it within the same shape layer, which is important. So I can go here now, hold Shift and rotate it, and then scale it like this, and now I have two, which is a good thing. Now I need to add the stripes, the white stripes in the middle of the road. Again, I need to do this on the same layer, which is called road. If I have the road layer selected, whatever shape I create in will be added to the existing layer. But if I had it deselected, it will be added as a new layer, as we just saw. So I have it selected now, which means that if I go to rectangle and set the fill to white, first I have to actually set the fill to white without having the other one selected, so that I don't change the existing. So if I go to rectangle and create something here, let's say, it's going to be gray, so I can turn this white, right? And it doesn't affect the other ones, but it's created within the road layer, which is what I want. So I'm going to zoom over, and I'm going to scale it down like this. So let's say I'm going to place it here. Now, if I want it to be placed exactly in the center of this one, what can I do to do that? No, I would select this one and go to the transform of it, and I look at the position. Let's say it's -20, for example. Right? So now if I click on that one and go to its position, I would also give it -20, and it would be exactly in the center of that. So now it's exactly in the center. Alright, anyway, I'll zoom out. I have this selected. Alright, I can select it from here also. And to create duplicates, like with Illustrator, I hold Alt and Shift, and I go up. Right? So that's what I did. And I would keep doing that. Maybe this is too long. So to be able to scale it down properly, I have to zoom in, and then I can scale it down properly. Alright, and I keep doing this until I'm done. All right. So now how do I actually create the horizontal ones? I have 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. I'm going to select all these by holding Shift, and I'm going to choose Layer and Group Shapes. So these will be grouped as one group within the road layer. I'm going to rename them Stripes. Actually, I'm going to name them Stripes Vertical. And Control D that and rotate this. So I can go to the transformation and go to rotation and give it 90 degrees. And then I would move it up. So that would actually save me some time. And move it sideways like this. Now I can go here and create a few other copies to fill up the road. So that's how I would do this here. And I'll zoom out. And at any time, I can select Stripes Vertical and just nudge it into place. All right, so that's the road. What I'm going to do next is create the cars. Now I have to get a car with transparency. So let's say that I went to Google. I'm not going to explain this because I explained it before. Actually, let's explain it. I'm going to open Photoshop. And I'm going to get the image of a car shot from the top. And I'm going to remove its background. And I'm going to use the car in After Effects with its transparency information. All right, I can either create an alpha channel or, yeah, exactly, save for web and choose PNG with transparency. So I think I have the car here somewhere. Okay, I don't, it doesn't matter. Okay, I'll look for car top view. That's what I looked at before. All right, so car top view. I'll do this very fast. I think I chose this one. So I'll drag it to Photoshop. If you're using Vista, you have to do this twice actually, because you have to allow this and then re-drag it in, and then it would come. And I'm going to rotate the canvas 90 degrees clockwise, because I like to see it that way. It works anyway. And I'm going to select very fast now the color, the white color, and deselect the white from the inside. Alright, let's say it's a good selection. I'm not going to spend too much time on it. I'll convert it to a regular layer. And I'll inverse the selection. Actually, no, I selected the white, so I'll delete that. I should probably go and clean up the shadow here, because it would look really strange in After Effects if I didn't do that. You take your time selecting, and of course I need to delete this part. I need to create two versions of the car. I have the red one, so I'll choose File, Save for Web. I'll choose PNG to get the exact transparency, and I'll save as car red. Actually, I had them, I didn't see them. Car red, and I have another one called car silver, and now I'm ready to use them in After Effects. So I'll switch back to After Effects, and alright, there they are. I'll select both and bring them in. So I'll bring the red car here, and I'll rotate it 90 degrees. So rotate tool, shift 90 degrees, and then scale it down. Also press shift, and there's the red car ready for driving. I'll put it here. Now I need to get the same scale value for the other one. So the scale is, say, 20%, or let's say 22%. I need to do the same thing for the silver car, so I'll bring it in. I'll put it up here and hit S for scale and type 22. So now they have the same scale. If I hold tilde, or press tilde actually, I can put this one up here and that one there, and now I'm ready to animate them. What I need to do is animate one of the cars stopping for the other. We have seen something like this with 3ds Max before. It's the exact same concept. So let's start with the red one. So I'm going to animate the position. Let's say after 3 seconds, it's going to move to the other side like this. So let's preview the speed of this. Okay, so that's the speed. It's a good speed. I'll select this one, go back to the beginning. Alright, so I'm in car silver. I'll hit P for position, and I'll set keyframes. Now, if I actually go to the same time as the other one and move it down, it will work, but both will actually crash in the center. Right, so I need the silver one to stop right about now. So what I need to do for this, for the silver, is to actually add a keyframe. So to add a keyframe, that's the silver. I'll click here, and now I have a keyframe added, which is a recording of the position at that time. To make it stop for some time, I need to copy this keyframe, so Control C, scrub a few frames later, and then press Control V to paste it. That way the car should stop between these two and then continue. Now it's not stopping in my case, it's actually going backwards and then going forward, and the reason for this is that the interpolation of the keyframes is not linear. You remember, whenever we have two keyframes, there is a line between them, which is the interpolation from one to another. In case it's a curve, it means that you have a smooth interpolation, which means that if you have a stop, it wouldn't be a full stop. It would be something like this. It would actually move. So to make them stop, in case we had two similar keyframes, you have to create a linear interpolation between them. Alright? To create the linear interpolation between the keyframes, I select them, I'll right click and choose keyframe interpolation. And I have to choose linear under spatial interpolation. So if I press OK and I go here, I would see that the car will actually stop. It will no longer go back and forth, and then it will move forward. So that's very important in case you are getting motion that's not what you want. It will probably be because of the keyframe interpolation. We have seen this in 3ds Max, and now this is a review. It applies to any animation software you're using. Linear interpolation means that you have no change in case you had two similar keyframes. You have no change between the two. Alright, so that's good now. I want to add a shadow underneath the car. So I'm going to go to the red car first, and I'll choose Effect, and I will choose drop shadow, which is found under perspective in After Effects. So perspective and drop shadow, that's the shadow. It doesn't look good at the beginning. I'm gonna actually set my distance to 0 unless I want to move it away for some reason, but I don't. So I'm gonna set my distance to 0, and I'm gonna increase the softness like this, and now I'll have a nice shadow underneath the car, and I'll increase the opacity to 100%. Alright, so that's good. Let's say 100 for the softness. I'm gonna use the same effect for the other car, so I'm gonna press Ctrl C on the shadow. So you select the drop shadow and press Ctrl C, and then you go to the other car and go here to effects and press Ctrl V, and it's gonna have the same effect, but I'll increase the opacity back to 100. So now the drop shadow will take effect with my animation. You see, without drop shadow it looks very fake. It looks like it's flying above the road, but with drop shadow it looks like it's actually driving over the road. So that's how I would do this. Next we're gonna add a camera and turn the layers to 3D.